equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, Savings Never Tasted So Good. Click on that, then enter in the Big Zone Deals store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Hickory Store Barbecue, Good Company Cafe, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening.
Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Oh, welcome in. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. We are here until 9 a.m. on a beautiful Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning.
Yeah, I did that yesterday when I was trying to schedule guests, but yeah, it's Wednesday.
Wednesday morning. We've made it. We've made it almost to the halfway point of the week.
It's hump day.
256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can join us this morning. Talent Heating and Air helping us put the ball on the tee or wherever you want to put it. 256-503-4490. Let their talent do some work for you. Thomas, Terry, Jeremy, they service Huntsville, surrounding areas. They can do tune-ups. They can do duct work, service repair, indoor air quality, system installation. Find them online, talenthvac.com. We are counting down 45 days, 4 hours, 58 minutes, and 13 seconds from the start of the college football season. We're less than that to the SEC Media Days. Yesterday, we told you it would happen probably right after the show, and it did. The Southeastern Conference announcing the student athletes that'll be headed to Atlanta next week. We are going to get to hear from Tim Keenan III, Deontay Lawson, and Caden Proctor from Alabama, Jackson Arnold, Keldrick Falk, and Connor Liu from Auburn.
Went 1 for 3 with Alabama. Thought I was thinking along the lines of Jeremy Bernard and Parker Brailsford, but certainly Tim Keenan's played a lot of football for Alabama, going to be a senior leader. We knew Deontay Lawson, he was a captain a year ago, so it made all the sense in the world he would be returning, no question about it. But Caden Proctor, if things go the way they should, he's healthy this year, and he has the kind of year anticipated. I mean, hell, if you want to go with all this Madden or college football, whatever, the video game, he's like the highest rated Bama player. So he should be.
I'm sure he'll get asked that at media days because
I will not ask that damn question. Okay,
I'm not saying you will.
That'll be the
I'm
blitz,
not saying you will, but I
have not played a college football video game since Bill Walsh college football. Okay, it's just not my gig.
I'm not saying you will, but there will be somebody that will ask him. I guarantee you about having played the game or saw his rating in the game, that question will come up.
Shout out to the original Stanley O's. I played their Miss Pac-Man when it was working. That's the last video game. It's a quarter one. It's one of the old school ones.
No.
I played it. Yes.
Now I'm thinking kitchen sink.
Well, the kitchen sink's great. Yeah, every Friday. Hot. On wheat with spicy mustard. No tomato.
Going white.
Yeah. No, wheat. Oh, you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just said I'm going white, not
Gotcha.
wheat.
Yeah, I got you. But
John, have you partook in the kitchen sink?
He has not.
He's looking at us like he has no clue what we're talking about.
I'm gonna bet that John's never eaten at Stanley O's in his life.
You've never eaten at Stanley O's.
Told you. I knew it.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
It is. Well, first of all, it's
He
a
grew
restaurant.
up where Philip Fulmer did. Of course, he's not going to know what Stanley O's is. He's going to eat whatever that fat ass ate. Okay.
Well, look, you need to go to Stanley O's on Governors, right there on the corner.
What's the sub shop in Franklin or Winchester there, John?
Subway?
There you go.
Okay. So
That's
you're
what I'm
doing
saying.
you need to go to Stanley O's right there on the corner of Governors. And what is it right there where
It's across the street from Steve Bolton's neighborhood.
Yes. You need to go to Stanley O's. You need to go on Friday, though.
That's when it's the special.
And the special is the kitchen sink. That is the premier sub there for them. Get you a kitchen sink on Friday.
Okay, I have seen Stan Leo's. I know what you guys are talking about.
Yes.
And you can have it. They have one on Jordan Lane too, but
yes, but the original right there is on Governors.
But you can get it hot or cold, and I usually get it hot, so it's really good. They also have a good Italian cold cut. I mean, we went there a ton when I was a kid. So, been around a long time.
I just haven't been there forever.
Well, I mean, I took a year or two break, not intentionally, but then, I had a couple of kitchen sinks in the last few months, but, probably need to go back this Friday since we're going to be in the ATL. So,
so John,
week.
there is your homework. Partake in the kitchen sink.
Yeah. It's good.
Yes, it is. Anyway, we pull back into the right lane. It is going to be I guess you could say there are going to be a few quarterbacks that will attend the SEC Media Days.
I would have had Keldrick Falk right for Auburn. But honestly,
Jackson Arnold is a surprise to me.
Well, a little bit, but he is going to be QB1. And Auburn's replacing a lot of skill guys, on offense. And so they don't have any obvious first-team All-SEC guys right now, but I still think Eric Singleton, who's the transfer from Georgia Tech, could be one. But again, he hasn't been there that long. Maybe one or two of the offensive linemen I thought might get, but one of them did actually, Connor Liu. But he's still a relatively young guy. But I know
he's only a junior.
But they're very, very high on him.
Auburn's bringing 3 juniors, by the way: Arnold, Falk, and Liu.
Yeah, and so no seniors being brought. So. And then they lost some seniors defensively, and so it's not completely surprising to me. So
Florida's bringing DJ Lagway.
No surprise, he's the future and the centerpiece of the program.
Yep. Georgia is bringing Gunnar Stockton. As a quarterback. You look around the rest of the league. LSU is bringing Garrett Nussmeier, the quarterback there. Ole Miss is bringing Austin Simmons, the quarterback. He presumably will be QB1 there.
Oh, yeah.
Mississippi State is going to bring Blake Shapen.
Yeah, because he's back from injury. He started last year, and his replacement, was a redshirt freshman who ended up transferring to LSU to back up Nussmeier.
This is kind of interesting because Oklahoma's bringing John Mater.
Oh, yeah.
Jackson Arnold was the starter at Oklahoma. State. Now John Mater's the starter at Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got that one. Lenoris Sellers from South Carolina, no shock there, will be at SEC Media Days. He'll have a lot of attention around him during his appearance.
Yeah, he and Lagway will both be hyped up. They may be your first and second team All-SEC QBs, quite frankly.
What about Arch Manning? He'll be there.
He'll get some votes, but these other two have more skins on the wall right now. But Arch will certainly be there and be probably the most popular guy. And, we're not going to be deep in the heart of overrated this year, but I'm sure they're going to it'll be like I don't know.
Will it be worse than Tim Tebow?
No, hell no. But anyway,
I know, but it's
by the way, shout out, just had a girl.
Yes. But Arch Manning seems like if Arch Manning has a great year this year, it seems like that following.
And I wasn't disrespecting Arch. I'm just saying there's never been a whole lot of things like Tim Tebow mania, okay?
No.
It was very different. Tim Tebow is so genuine. Tim Tebow is such a great player. Tim Tebow got Urban Meyer in the Hall of Fame. Now, Urban Meyer still went undefeated at Utah. I understand he got one at Ohio State. But really where he rose to the superstardom was Florida because he was able to recruit Tim Tebow, who was a transcendent player. I mean, he has a statue on that campus for a reason. I know he didn't have a great pro career, but that doesn't matter. The impact he had on Florida, he won 2 national championships, won a Heisman there, and just the kind of person that he is. I mean, Tim Tebow, there's not a whole lot of things I've seen. I mean, the Manning family is huge for college football and their heritage, but Tim Tebow is just different. Probably the second craziest I've ever seen it was Johnny Be Good, and he was actually Johnny Be Awful after when he went to the NFL. But Johnny Football, created quite a buzz. I would say Manning would be after those two. I mean, certainly Arch will be a huge deal, and I look forward to hearing from him.
Right, but he could come again, though. He could come his junior year if he wanted to.
Look, man, it ain't going to shock me if he comes his sophomore, junior, and senior year. All these people that he's going pro after this year. No, he's not. Well, he's going pro after his junior. Wouldn't count on it. It's not like the Mannings need money. And if you've ever followed the family, they're pretty smart when it comes to this stuff and the decision making.
Right. So normally, and this is not a disrespect to Vanderbilt at all, but when the Commodores usually walk through SEC media days, the lights are going off. And you can kind of get what you want from Vanderbilt because the attention it's there. But lots of times, if you want Clark Lee, you can get him to sit down at your table. You can get in conversation with him. This year, Vanderbilt, they are one of the last sessions on Monday. Right out of the gate, Vanderbilt is. Diego Pavia will be in attendance for SEC media days. It does give Vanderbilt a little bit of a spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be interested to see if they've, coached him on what to say or if he's just going to continue to give everybody bulletin board material. I mean, who knows? I mean, I was couldn't sleep last night watching a video. Steven Seagal, it turned out he's a fraud. And got challenged to a fight many years ago because he kept running his mouth about Jean-Claude Van Damme being a fake, and Jean-Claude got tired of it, confronted him at Sylvester Stallone's house, and he ran like a scalded dog.
Really?
Didn't want none.
I did not know that.
Well, that's kind of but Diego has always had a chip on his shoulder.
Yes,
that's what I like about him. He brings energy. He should be really, and he wasn't there last year.
No, he was not. That's why I said though. This gives
that's
Vanderbilt
another one that I'm looking forward to hearing from. I mean, maybe even we might get him on Radio Row, but
this gives Vanderbilt a little bit of panache.
He's the face of their program right now. I mean, and again, I'll say it again, Vandy and South Carolina. You already mentioned Lenora Sellers are not going to sneak up on anyone, but both of those guys are going to be crucial to their team's success, as is DJ Lagway. And a big question about DJ will be his shoulder, if he's healthy. Where is he health-wise? Because he's so crucial, to the Gators being good and for things to continue to get better and better for Billy Napier. And recruiting certainly going well. We're going to talk a little bit of Florida and some SEC with Brent Beaird at the top of the second hour. And then we're going to talk with Brandon Drumm, OU insider, now part of On 3 and Rivals because of Oklahoma. You just mentioned, their QB is going to be a part of SEC Media Days. And the biggest news of the day, I thought yesterday, Joe Castiglione, for the first time since 1998, he is fixing to retire as athletic director, I believe, after this year.
Yes. How funny was that, though? That announcement came out. A lot of people drew lines with that one.
Yeah.
That it came out the same day as the Big 12 media days were getting underway. The announcement came out around about the same time, and it was like, once again, Oklahoma just kind of putting something out there.
That's all I'd ask. Who?
Oh, we We got to talk about the Big 12 media days.
Well, your boy, I know you love Iowa State.
Yes,
so
Chris
much.
Kleinman.
You know, no, you gotta love Matt Campbell. I mean, he's been on 5 beaches and 15 tanning beds. If you looked at him, brother.
I thought you were talking about Chris Kleinman, who said he grew up. He grew up a Northern Iowa Panther fan, not an Iowa fan, not an Iowa State fan.
No, I wasn't talking about that.
But a Northern Iowa fan.
Because they did something at the first day of Big 12 Media Days, because they have a whopping 2 days of theirs, they did a coaches roundtable. Now, they didn't let the media ask the questions. They had a moderator just let them talk.
Right.
And Matt Campbell was on that looking well done, Matt. And he's done a hell of a job. People forget they won 11 last year.
I've not seen
Matt Campbell's Steve
tan.
Moulton pointed it out to me when I was on the Tom Abraham show yesterday live at Baumhauer. And I was like, what? And he said, no, look up at the TV, man. And I was like, wow. I mean, this is like Michael Jackson in reverse. You know what I'm saying? And so, it was crazy.
Wow.
See, I told you.
Wow. He's been laying on the beach.
Yeah. We were like, he must have been on vacation for the past month, man. After those visits in June. Like, 2 or 3 weeks, brother.
Well,
preparing for this.
It's been extremely warm in Iowa this year,
and
this summer.
I will say this: if I was going to take somebody in a Royal Rumble after seeing the round table, Kalani Sitake from BYU would be the guy I'd take, brother.
That's who you're.
That's who I'm taking. If it's the Royal Rumble, I mean, Joe Hunt could be all over that. He was with us yesterday, but I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness! All right, 7:15 on a Wednesday morning.
Scott Satterfield, barely recognized him without his visor on. You know, he's the head coach of Cincinnati. He
barely
left Louisville
recognized
to go to Cincinnati.
I mean, really though, when you look at the Big 12 coaches,
really,
I know when you look at the Big 12 coaches,
who
there's really only one. I mean, Matt Campbell. I could point out Matt Campbell, but think about it. There's really only one that comes to mind, and that's Mike Gundy. That you can literally look at all the time without a hat on, without anything.
Well, Kyle Winningham, but he wasn't on there.
Right, but Mike Gundy with the mullet, he is, I don't know. He's the one I could point out. You know, if I put them all in a lineup, for sure Mike Gundy would be one that I could point out.
Right.
All right, we got to get a break in. 7:16, Talking Ball, get back.
Scott Frost has some interesting things to say.
We got to get into that. We got to get into Brett Yormark.
Who?
I know. Yes. The commissioner of the Big 12. For those that are asking, who? Got to get a break in. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. 3-0 to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's gonna fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. In Hampton Cove and our latest location, now open in New Market on Winchester Road.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us. Smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips enough, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellini's tonight.
The Atlanta Braves.
3-2. Swung on, ground ball up the middle. Let's go for a ride. Here comes Eli. Across the plate standing. Braves win. Never gets old, does it?
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. We're here until 9, having a little bit of fun. 256-576-4977. If you want to join us via the phone line, feel free to do so. Let's go out there real fast. Pat from Tuscaloosa holding court. Pat, good morning.
Morning, Pat.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. Hey, guys, so who has a law school and who's a Cal College? I think Alabama has a law school.
Yeah, Alabama does.
And you think that they didn't have the smartest minds available going over this NCAA settlement and mess that Alabama would be going out and doing something stupid? Absolutely not. This clearinghouse, everyone's had to go through a clearinghouse, and from what I understand now, I thought everybody was trying to get everything done by July the 1st, as far as recruits and stuff goes for 2026.
Right.
And that after the 1st, that things were going to change. That if we had any deals and stuff in place prior to the 1st, that was okay. I could be wrong on. I probably am wrong on that. I don't know. But Auburn's saying I'm wrong on that. And what do you think?
No, it had to be early July, the first week of July, to get deals done, and in other words, it's almost like signing over the cap for this time for it to be kind of grandfathered in. But yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about Alabama. I know Alabama's had a plan. Alabama has never been one of them like a Texas or a Texas Tech or even Texas A&M. That's went over and around and just spent an exorbitant amount, like Ohio State did last year. But a lot of there's a few schools this year that are maybe doubling that.
Right.
So,
but August 1st is another potential.
But I think Alabama's prepared for August 1st. They're not worried about that. I think most schools are. Most schools, in Texas, they've got enough money. Maybe they're willing to. Whatever. I don't know even what the consequences are. I don't know enough about the gray areas and what it may entail. Probably find out next week. But
yeah, July 1st was the date that schools could officially start paying athletes. They could start officially doing stuff. August 1st is when they project the cap to be around 20-some million right now.
Right.
August 1st is when the number will officially, I think, come out as far as caps go for recruiting. And so that's why some schools are like, okay, we don't know if we're close to the cap or if we're over the cap, so we don't know where we're at. So August 1st is another big date.
It is.
Yeah. I got you. But, but like I said, I guarantee you that we've had the finest minds at the law school, to solve this issue, and that Auburn is going to find herself so far behind the 8 ball in this recruiting class. Because if they're correct and everybody has to do what they say, that every school is going to have the same amount of money. And how do you convince people that's already committed to certain schools to go somewhere else?
Well, that's the thing. Certain schools, you hope, will have that. Like we said, though, there's always that loophole. So while we say there's a $20 million or $25 million cap in college football, this is where that gray area falls in. What are you going to... This
is what I'm talking about for July the 6th. I wanted to look it up.
Right.
And here are the bullet points. By July 6th, schools that opted in had to designate student athletes. Institutions were required to identify designated student athletes by July 6th. These are athletes permitted by the settlement to remain above roster limits. Then opt-in schools and roster limits. The schools that opted into the settlement had to designated by the state the student athletes allowed to remain on their rosters, even if it exceeded the new roster limits, because this is the first year, so there's kind of a grandfather deal. Implications of the House settlement. The broader House settlement approved on June 6th has reshaped the landscape of collegiate sports by allowing direct revenue sharing from schools to student athletes and establishing a new framework for NIL deals. And then, of course, what Pat's talking about, as far as a new NIL clearinghouse, NIL Go, launched on June 11th, is to review NIL deals of $600 or more, ensuring they represent fair market value and have a valid business purpose. And then the Collegiate Sports Commission, CSC, is a designated entity responsible for enforcing it. But again, I think I'm not worried at all. I think most schools have a plan. And I think Auburn's taking a huge gamble. We'll see if it works. And maybe some of these are just, by word of mouth. We'll see if that's the case with USC and how many commitments they have. But I think the majority of schools, they've been preparing for the opt-in. They've been preparing, for the revenue share. And I think that's another, Anthony Tank Jones, his revenue share is going to be big because we'll see how much Alabama has left because they have, got 18 commitments. A&M's got deep pockets. Oregon does. We'll see.
So the August 1st thing, here is what I just kind of learned this now. So when a school does a recruit and they get a commit, right now what they're doing is they are saying, okay, Drew, I'm going to offer you $500,000 to come to Alabama or wherever. August 1st, that is when schools can formally offer revenue share contracts. That's when the contracts go out to these recruits to sign. So remember, there is no more letters of intent. Those are gone. This is what will happen on August 1st. Schools then can go and get these contracts formally signed that are the NIL deals, these revenue sharing deals. This is what the recruiting is all about. And that's where on August 1st, some of these schools may have overcommitted themselves as far as financial arrangement. That's what they're hoping. Yes.
And there may be.
So that's what August 1st is.
They don't do a good enough job. But I think Greg Byrne, I trust him. I think he's an outstanding athletic director. I'll be honest with you, a guy like Joe Castiglione, and don't forget our first guest on Radio Row last year, Jim Nagy, is now the general manager for football at Oklahoma. So I think they have a plan. So I think most of these schools are very, very organized. I'll still say it's all a smokescreen, man. Auburn's got to win. It's not about, we got to wait the longest for. I mean, that's part of it with their lawyers, but they got to win games because Hugh Freeze, you're paid to win. He came in with high expectations. He's recruited well the first years. He's done a really nice job in that regard, but he's got to win. They've got to start winning games because they really haven't had a good season since 2017. When you talk about a year where they were a contender and nearly made a BCS or a college football playoff, they would have made the 14 playoff if they had won the SEC championship that year. Because the Auburn is still not made, whether it's a BCS. They made the BCS, the last year in the final two, but they didn't make the 14 playoff. They didn't make the playoff last year, and they haven't had a year to remember since the senior year of Kerryon Johnson in 2017. The last few years have just not been up to their caliber, and they need to win.
Gotcha. But, I just think that they've made a big mistake down there, and this could spell the end of Gus Malzahn and
you mean Hugh?
You mean Hugh Freeze?
I mean Hugh Hefner Freeze, yeah. But hey, it's the end. It's the end of everything. That Auburn will never be anything more than a cow college. It's just I swear I see it. I mean,
thanks for the phone call, Pat.
Day, guys.
All right. Let's get one more in. Let's get Brandon in real fast. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning.
Morning. So I come in yesterday. My son meets me at the door, and he says, "Will you find out if Drew and them is going to the fight at the White House next year?" And I looked at him and I said, "Son, we're not poor." I said, "But we probably have about enough money to take up coats at an event like that." I said, "The amount of people that's going to be there is going to be off the chart." And he asked me, he said, "Who's going to be fighting?" And I said, "Well, if we're lucky, maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC." And he has no idea who that is.
Right.
I said, maybe Trump will fight Rosie O'Donnell. I was like, we'll get lucky and that'll happen. But what a spectacle. Over or under 100,000 people at that event, you think?
I don't know. So for those that don't know, UFC yesterday confirmed President Trump wants to plan to host a UFC fight at the White House
very good friends.
in 2026,
Yeah.
honoring America's 250th birthday on July 4th.
Wow. I guess John Jones won't come out of retirement.
So they're expecting just inside the White 20 to 25,000 people for it.
We ain't getting credential for that. You got to be some highfalutin people, man, and highfalutin journalists.
I don't know.
Ross Dellinger will be there, I bet. He could get in. His wife's worked in the White House, bro. He could probably get there to cover.
You imagine you'll probably have to have a name crevice search to even get into that place that day.
Dude, I've been to Bama games when President Trump showed up, and trust me, it was a ordeal to get in the house, whether it was a media member or just being there last year for the Georgia game and sitting in the stands and taking a while to get there and watch Kirby gag.
Well, I was really hoping when I saw Hank Williams Jr. and Kid Rock and all them that they were going to perform with the Alabama band at halftime. Way to screw that up, not even pull that one off.
Mm-hmm.
But I was at a restaurant yesterday. I was at Brad's Barbecue in Anniston.
Yeah.
While y'all were watching the Big 12 Media Days, and I asked them to turn it on the TV. And we call them 2-day because that's all they are.
Who?
And there's a guy working there, and he looks at me and he said, "I'm Guatemalan, and I'm not that dark."
Whoa.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
We didn't say.
Yeah.
And I laughed so hard. And he said, white boy's pushing. I said, yeah, but is he more tan than Ed Orgeron? And we both looked at each other, and he said, "That's a good question." I said, "Well, it'll probably rip his shirt off in the next week." I said, "So we ought to just put them side by side."
Yeah, I don't know.
When you're more tan than Ed Orgeron,
yeah,
you're trying to say something.
Yeah, yeah.
And Scott hadn't seen it. I told him to look this morning.
I looked and it's wow.
Yeah, dude. I'm just telling you, brother.
You need to talk to Josh Pate because he keeps saying his Iowa State Cyclone.
Yeah.
So you need to ask him. You need to ask him when you talk to him. Did he ask Matt Campbell to get that tan?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But I'd say this though: Iowa State has some high expectations, and Iowa's going to have some high expectations. Could be a fun year in the Hawkeye
What
State.
kind of tanning beds they got in Iowa, man? Dang, I guess they must have been in Florida.
Big old farm field tanning beds.
Yeah.
If Kirk Ferentz comes out with a spray tan, it's over.
Yes, it is. I totally agree. Brandon, thanks for the phone call, bud. Enjoy the day. We're going to get a break in. When we come back, we will talk Big 12 Media Days. We've got to.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. You know it's hot outside, so cool down with an upright or chest freezer in stock at Owen Home Appliance Center. And don't let those beverages get hot. Get an under-counter ice machine with a built-in pump for just $12.99. Or how about a fridge out by the pool or in the garage for extra cold drinks? You can get a scratch and dent 18-cubic-foot refrigerator for just $3.49 while supplies last. Go to OwenAppliance.com to learn more. That's OwenAppliance.com.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of iconic casinos, world-class shows, dining, and entertainment. Las Vegas. With flights starting as low as just $79, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Las Vegas. Book nonstop to Las Vegas now at flybreeze.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
You guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at sensagreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back in on a Wednesday morning. 97.7 ESPN The Zone is your home. Brett Yormark yesterday.
Who?
I tell you what, let me ask you this question, okay? When is the last time that a team that is not that outside of Texas and Oklahoma,
You mean an SEC school?
Yes. Outside of Texas and Oklahoma, when is the last time a current Big 12 team has won the national championship? Take away Texas and Oklahoma. Take them out of the equation.
Well, Oklahoma was 2000. Texas
Right.
was 2005 before
Right.
Vince Young went broke.
Right. So you take them out of the equation because that's Texas is the last Big 12 team to win a national title, but they're no longer in the conference. So
Yeah.
you take them out and you take Oklahoma out.
BYU in 1984.
Colorado 1990.
Oh, Coach Mack.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
But
see, they
you're
shouldn't
right,
have won
though,
it
about
'cause they got
BYU.
5 freaking downs to win a game because the refs couldn't count to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes. The
and
infamous.
then, unbelievably, Coach Mack punted the rocket, and then they got a clip somehow.
But before that,
Notre
you're
Dame
right,
didn't have a horseshoe up that ass.
You're right. BYU in 1984. So Colorado 1990, BYU in 84, and Texas Christian in 1938.
You know who won it the year after that?
Who's that?
Texas A&M. And what league are they in now? The SEC.
Yes. So I thought that was funny
Of course,
because
that was probably the Big 8 back then. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Because yesterday their commissioner.
And I keep forgetting Colorado moved from the Pac-12 since it disintegrated
Yes.
into Texas State. And now
Because they were the original Big 8. Colorado's in the Big 8. Then they were the Big 12.
And now Colorado's back in the Big 12.
Then they went Pac-12, and then they're back in the Big 12. So really, they are an original member of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, their conference commissioner, Brett Yormark, and this is what makes media days so good, is the grandstanding for your conference. The Big Ten will do it. The SEC will do it. Jim Phillips in the ACC, they will do it as well. They will stand up on the podium and they will promote their conference with gusto.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Yormark did so yesterday. Take a listen.
And once again, I believe we will be the deepest football conference in America.
Puff, puff,
no league offers the competitive balance that we do. Last season, the Big 12 led the nation in fourth quarter lead changes and go-ahead scores in the final minute of conference games. And this year, our star power, especially at quarterback, will be on full display. The Big 12 returns 9 starting quarterbacks who threw for over 2,400 yards last season. The rest of the Power 4 combined, just 11. We also boast one of the nation's top coaching lineups, from Hall of Famers to rising stars. I fully expect the Big 12 to earn multiple college football playoff bids this year, and to show once again that we can compete with anyone.
Like Wofford did when they got a shot to play for the national championship against Georgia. TCU.
They led the country in fourth quarter comebacks.
I mean, whoever, one of his associate commissioners or one of their, I don't know, somebody had to dig for that one, bro. to spend that. And then, I mean, a lot of teams, have, and especially in the SEC, we've had a lot of quarterback changeover.
Right.
So they've got a bunch of starters returning. But I was asked on the Tom Abraham show yesterday, live from Baumhower's, if I knew any starting quarterbacks in the Big 12. And I told the truth. Hell no. I don't know. The closest I had was Sam Levitt. I couldn't remember his last name. I just remember his first name was Sam.
From Arizona State.
Arizona State. He's a good player. I saw him in the playoff. He's good. And I said he might be able to start at half the SEC schools, maybe. But I don't know. So, and now, I guess it's a smart move by Brett Yormark, but they've made it an executive decision only in football, which is just don't do it in any of the sports, you fool. He's they're not picking a preseason poll because last year Arizona State was 16th and they felt like it hurt them even though they made the playoff and won the league.
Yes.
But because of perception that they didn't get seated as high as they should.
Yes. And so they did away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Were they a top 4 team last year? No. Were they a college football playoff team? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
They were about as hot. They were about as much of a top 4 seed as Boise State, who should have never been either.
Yeah, because they also picked Utah and Oklahoma State to finish near the top of the league. And they had good. Dismal years last year, finished near the bottom of the league. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, the Big 12, I think the Big 10's doing it as well. They're not doing the preseason media poll. The SEC
I've always said preseason media polls are stupid. I didn't vote in it last year.
Right. I know. Yes. But this, to me, these polls are different than the AP preseason top 25. To me, these are just where the media thinks you are. I mean, it's where and a lot of it's based on your previous year. So I guarantee you this year, if the Big 12 had a poll, they would not put Arizona State 16. They would probably put them 1, 2, or 3 inside the Big 12 because of their results from last year.
Yeah. They ain't going to sneak up on anybody this year either.
Right.
But like Steve Moulton rightfully pointed out yesterday, they beat at home Mississippi State by 7, who may have been one of the worst teams in SEC history.
But I'll say this, though. That is Arizona State to me, though, is an example of
I love
team.
Scatterby. Everybody had to love Scatterby.
But I think they were a team getting better as the year went along. They found themselves. They found their identity. They found what worked. And I guarantee you probably
Dillingham did a great job.
If they played Mississippi State maybe in week 7 or week 8,
it would have been a slaughter.
It would have been a slaughter. Right. Because Arizona State got better. They truly got better as the year went along. They got stronger as the year went along.
Yeah, State gave up, bro. It was baseball season.
Well, and leading into that, Yormark also said about the college football playoffs. Remember, the Big 12 is an advocate for the 5 plus 1 mile.
Think about that. They still haven't even voted for the whether it's going to be 14 or 16, but we know it's going to be 16. So quit dilly-dallying and vote it in, for goodness sakes.
Here's Yormark on the future of the college football playoffs and where the Big 12 stands.
5-11 is fair. We want to earn it on the field. It might not be the best solution today for the Big 12, given your comments about AQs. But long term, knowing the progress we're making, the investments we're making, it's the right format for us. And I'm doubling down today on 5-11. And I know Jim Phillips will, and I'm sure some of the other conference commissioners will as well.
Sounds like I'm doubling down on 5-11. Doubling down.
Is that a smaller version of 7-Eleven? Because I couldn't get a drink at Circle K yesterday. So
see, if we had 7-Elevens, you would be getting Slurpees all the time.
Hey, now that I get them for 79 cents, I get slushies all the time at Circle K when they work. They were working yesterday, though.
Is it kind of like McDonald's and the ice cream machine just never works?
No, I mean, usually the freeze machines do work for the most part. Lately, it's just been a little janky with the Cokes.
Do you expect Greg Sankey to double down on the 5-11?
I think that's where it's going.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to 16. I think it's going to 5 and 11. And Josh Pate's got his finger on the pulse as good as anybody. I think Greg Sankey's been coy about all of it, but I think it's kind of like the tar baby. Just go ahead and throw me out yonder. And I think we're going to get 5 in. So.
Oh, yes. And then, by the way, you said this during the commercial break.
Yeah.
WWE and
that's
the Big
when you
12.
know that you're desperate. You know what I'm saying? And, Joe Hunk had a good thought. He thinks it has to do with belts and that everybody's going to be given a belt and they're going to try to also market them and sell them. So, there you go. All those props everybody's got when you make a big play. Maybe all the teams now get a belt, man.
Yeah. So
we'll
WWE and the Big 12 announced yesterday that they are going to bring the Friday Night SmackDown to Big 12 markets during the 2025 college football season.
So that's what it was?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Friday, August 22nd, SmackDown is going to be in Dublin, Ireland for the Iowa State-Kansas State game.
Get you some tickets, Brandon.
And then October 3rd, it's going to be in Cincinnati, Ohio, ahead of the Iowa State-Cincinnati game. And then on the 24th, it's going to be at Mullet Arena in Tempe, Arizona.
Hold on, say that again.
Mullet Arena.
Wait a minute. What? That wasn't built for my man, Mike Gundy?
It should be, right?
Yeah, Mullet Arena.
And then on the 31st of October, it's going to be in Salt Lake City ahead of the Cincinnati-Utah game. So what they're doing is they're doing SmackDown on Friday night ahead of the Big 12 games on that Saturday.
There you go.
So in 4 markets, 4 games. So that's their partnership.
Okay.
Got to get a break in. Wrap up hour 1 next. We do got college basketball conversation to throw out there.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Storton Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. Some of that activity could linger into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Partly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s with scattered showers and thunderstorms once again.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. Trio to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's gonna fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
I'm here with our good friend, John Kendall. He's got 23 years of retail mortgage experience in the Tennessee Valley, and he's powered up with the #1 retail mortgage lender in the nation.
That's right, Scott. We have joined with Cross Country Mortgage, and that is true. We're the #1 retail mortgage lender in America. And with that powerhouse team and our experience here locally, we're ready to go.
They've got 120 mortgage, refinance, and home equity solutions to fit every need. If you call on Cross Country Mortgage, it is for the win.
That's right. You can reach me, Scott, at 256-562-3780, or you can go to crosscountrymortgage.com and then search my name.
It's Cross Country Mortgage and John Kendall, a powerhouse team. One more time, John.
That's crosscountrymortgage.com, 256-562-3780. If we can't close your loan, it simply cannot be closed.
Equal Housing Opportunity Company in MLS, number 3029.
It just works. Picture this. You're at home doing whatever it is you do. Then, pow! The power goes out. Then what? Well, at my house, life goes on. We have a Generac automatic home standby generator from Current Electrical and Generator Services. For your home security and peace of mind, get a free personal consultation on how a Generac automatic home standby generator can protect you. Current Electrical and Generator Services. Call or visit us on the web at HuntsvilleGenerators.com. You've got the power.
Listen to the Rocket City Trash Pandas all season long.
Next pitch is drilled. Deep to left field. Back goes Edsel. At the wall. It's out of here. A home run. Like a tomato, ketchup squished it.
Trash Panda Baseball is only on Talk Radio WZZN.
7:53 on a Wednesday morning. And I know this is something that you are just going to love to hear and talk about either today or tomorrow. Today's being Wednesday, tomorrow being Thursday. The NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Committee, they are expected to decide whether the tournament field will be expanded to 72 or 76 teams.
Are you saying they're going to expand no matter what?
According to sources that follow college basketball, they are expected to decide whether to expand the tournament field from 68 to 72 or 76. Most believe the decision will be made to expand. Nobody is under the belief that they will keep it at 68. Pretty much everybody, the consensus around college basketball, those that follow it, believe that the field will be expanded.
Well, like I said, it used to be 64 for a long time. 68 has worked well. My vote would be for 72. And I think it's just starting to get too damn big. And there's just, you know, you're still trying to get the cream of the crop in the postseason. So, you know, we'll see. I was more excited about the Boutwell Auditorium announcements. If you saw that yesterday.
Yes, Scott. Alabama basketball.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, though. It's all of them. It's
Alabama, Auburn.
Monday, Samford and Alabama A&M. Tuesday, the Auburn Tigers are going to be taking the floor. And then Wednesday, Alabama men and women against Florida State in an exhibition game.
That game for Auburn will be their first preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the first time that they take to the court wearing their Nike uniforms and their Nike apparel. So Brian Matthews pointing that one out yesterday when that one was announced. But yes, and keep in mind, last season, Alabama played it out well, then made the short drive.
State going to be the opponent there.
Played that short drive, made that short drive up here, took on Memphis in a preseason game. Yeah. The press conference will still happen here eventually, but Alabama will be playing a regular season game this year here at the Von Braun Center. So
yeah, they will. And like we said,
so fouls will count.
Yeah, well, I had to wait to give Auburn's opponent because it's a who, you know, Oklahoma State from the where? Oh, yeah, the Big 12.
From the Big 12. Yes, from the Big 12.
You know.
Look, the Big 12 is,
better basketball league, though. I mean, you got to love Henry Iva there and Eddie Sutton.
Well, no, they have won.
Mm-hmm.
Have they won? Yes, they have won a basketball. When's the last time they won? That's probably a dumb question, but when's the last time they won a basketball national championship?
Many moons ago.
I was going to say, is it? I mean,
Are you talking about the Big 12 as a whole?
Well, Kansas, my bad, in 22, and then Baylor in 21.
I thought you were just talking about.
I say, well, it slipped my mind. I couldn't remember when they did. So Kansas in 22, Baylor in 21. But then you go back, and then Kansas in 08. So, all right, that's hour one in the books. SEC Media Days quickly approaching us. We will be in Atlanta on Monday. When we come back, Brent Beaird will join us. Brent Beaird will join us.
Brent Beaird.
We're going to talk a little Florida football.
Brent Beaird, twin brother of Brett Beaird. Say that 10 times fast.
And some SEC football. Get his thoughts on the league. Get his thoughts on everything. And the Florida Gators coming up next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Nick Kurtz with a grand slam, and it was Lawrence Butler adding 2 home runs as the Athletics pounded the Braves 10-1 yesterday, 5th straight loss for Atlanta. Bryce Elder 2-6, a 5.92 earned run average on the mound for the Braves today, a $1.37 favorite against Mitch Spence of the Athletics, plus 112. The total is 10.5, but that number is juiced to the under at Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. Scotty Scheffler plus 340 to win the Genesis Scottish Open at the Renaissance Club in North Berwick, Scotland. They tee off early tomorrow morning stateside. Rory McIlroy plus 650. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. You know what? They're helping us kick off hour number 2 here of the show. They're dedicated to providing a little care that can improve your lives. Give them a call, 256-881-5151. If you want to experience that SportsMed difference, all you got to do is give them a call. We talk a lot about it. They're the official medical providers for the UAH Chargers and the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Yes.
For the UAH.
Styling and profiling are the Chargers. Anyway, coming up next week in the ATL, SEC Media Days get underway at the College Football Hall of Fame and the Omni Hotel. LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vanderbilt will kick things off. Auburn is on day 2 on Tuesday. Alabama, day 3 on Wednesday. And Arkansas, Kentucky, Missouri, and Texas A&M will round out the extravaganza on Thursday. The Florida Gators and DJ Lagway, Billy Napier and company, they will be there on Wednesday, same day as Alabama, same session as the Crimson Tide.
Heck, our Florida, live stream has been one of our most popular.
It is.
At SEC Media Days, no doubt about that. And our next guest, I think he was the first guest I ever had on SEC Media Days back in the old days when we were in Hoover on my first show when I barely slept the night before because I'd never done free flow radio. He's an institution when it comes to being at SEC Media Days. He's a Heisman Trophy voter. He's the co-host of the SEC Second Helping podcast with Travis Reier, and of course, the lead college football analyst for First Coast News in the great city of Jacksonville, Florida, and that is Brent Beaird. And it's great to catch up with him and have him back on Talking Ball this morning. Brent, you're with Drew and Scott. Good morning to you, sir. And I hope you had a great Fourth.
Thank you. It will be great to see you guys in Atlanta as we get ready again. It's here.
Yeah.
But we're glad to Steve, Wendy's, and Antoine, or basically are the three that we're down to now. But and I can tell you there certainly is a lot of excitement in the Jacksonville, Gainesville, Tampa, Orlando area for the promising season the Gators might have.
Well, I tell you what a difference 365 days make. I mean, last time we were sitting there talking about what does Billy
Auburn
Napier
was Florida and Florida was Auburn.
Yeah, what is Billy Napier going to have to do to keep his job? How many wins? This schedule's brutal. I don't think they're going to get through it. He might not even make it through the year.
And then the disaster, September.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, now it's like optimism. DJ Lagway
recruiting's completely flipped.
Yeah, Lagway's coming to Atlanta. There's a lot of expectation. What a difference, Brent.
Well, it's amazing in a lot of ways. There were a lot of unknowns. They're beginning to be explained, and the story is playing itself out. They frankly may have one of the best offenses in the league. Look, there is no mystery about Lagway. When Lagway is healthy, and that will continue to be the big question, and I am glad that he's coming to media day to deal with that. I think it's important. Frankly, 6-1 is a freshman. He can make all the throws. I will be curious, guys, what they do with early on his running ability. I'm still convinced they may have beaten Georgia if he doesn't get hurt with a hamstring.
True.
In that game. So weapons around him, with Jaden Bond, Jacoby Jackson at running back, the two Wilson guys, Eugene and Dallas. The Sturdivant guy from UCLA is someone they're really high on. Could you argue, Scott and Drew, this is easily one of the better offensive lines in the league, frankly. I know Jake Slaughter is coming to Atlanta, but Austin Barber may be as good or better, frankly. So Damian George, obviously a guy that your listeners are familiar with. Look, on paper right now, this offense looks solid.
Well, and that's a huge stark turnaround for the first 2 years of the offensive line under Billy Napier.
Yes,
it was horrendous. It started showing a stark improvement last year in year 3. Now going into year 4, I've seen it ranked as maybe one of the top 3 offensive lines in the SEC. And if that's the case, then Florida, I haven't really been talking about them being a college football playoff team, but maybe they do make a dark horse run.
Well, here is the possibilities. We've talked a lot about that lately. The schedule is brutal again.
It is.
And basically it's just flip-flop from last year. Now they start with Long Island. I don't think that's going to be a struggle. If it is, that's a problem.
Huh.
And then they got what might be a sneaky good South Florida team that's coming in. The really, guys, the biggest part of this schedule comes up next at LSU, at Miami, a week off for Texas, which may be the biggest game in the Swamp in years, and then a game they cannot overlook at A&M. Look, even at 2-2, there, I think they would probably sign a contract for that right now. But Drew, to your point about a quasi playoff team, now if this committee is going to be serious about taking into consideration strength of schedule as one of their main points that they're going to be going by, even a 9-3 Florida team, I'm not saying they would get in, because last year we saw where 2 losses were basically the limit. But guys, wouldn't they? If they go 9-3 with this schedule, wouldn't the committee have to give them some consideration?
Well, absolutely. They should.
But you never know. And Brent, you mentioned that the offense for Florida could be one of the best in the country, and could be one of the best in the league, I should say. What about the defensive side of the ball?
They made progress with Ron Roberts coming in and leaving Auburn and going there.
What? Because early on last year, that defense just got torched early.
Yes. But I'll say this, though, Scott, where they picked it up is they really came together in November.
Yeah.
And beat LSU and Ole Miss. That made a huge difference. Now, Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks. Banks is coming to Atlanta, really good defensive tackle. They really like Pup Howard, who came from South Carolina. Grayson Howard at linebacker, Sharif Denson, Devin Moore. Those are guys in the secondary that they like. So that I agree with you guys. I mean, this defense really is pretty good. Frankly, they got shell-shocked early on with losses last year, particularly the Miami game. I think I got them off track. They were able to find themselves. There's still a couple things in this team, guys, that's going to make a difference.
Well, and go ahead. I'm sorry, Brent. What I was going to say, my apologies. I agree. But what about what's the buzz? Because I loved him as a player. I know you admired him as well. I know his father at one point in time was a member of the Gator staff. But what about Austin Armstrong leaving to go to Houston, but you replace him with a guy like Vinny Sunseri, who's still very early in his coaching journey after being with the New England Patriots and then Washington last year, the Huskies. But Vinny, an outstanding football player at Alabama. But what about his fit, and what are you hearing about him and Ron Roberts and how he may fit into that defensive staff?
I think he fits in well. And the great thing about Vinny is he just had so much experience. And obviously when you have a dad like he does,
right, Sal Sunseri,
what you learn from him and Sal, Drew and Scott, I don't think he's as loud as his daddy, but still, he learns a lot from him. So there's some real hope that this defense is going to just continue. The two big bugaboos here that they've got to overcome. One is you still Gator fans, when you talk to them, will tell you, and media will too, that now Russ Callaway's listed as your offensive coordinator, but Billy Napier still likely is going to be calling plays. I mean, that may go back and forth a bit. But if the play calling can improve, last year they just had some real, like the Tennessee game was very difficult for them. So that's one situation. And I know this sounds trivial, but it's really not. They have got to be significantly better on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
They have looked like the Keystone Cops at times on special teams, where there's been times to where they had like 20 guys on the field, and some didn't know when to come on or when to go off. And for instance, that really cost them in some games. A 43-yard field goal ended up being a 48-yard field goal, and if it was barely missed, it would have been good from 43. So there are just parts still that people question: can those areas get improved?
And if they can, then obviously Florida then has a great chance to make the playoffs. And it all goes back to your point, though. if they stumble 3 times, will the committee look at them, take them seriously because of the strength of schedule to get into the playoffs?
Well, and Scott, the reality is, look, this committee can defend it, but last year that committee did not take into serious consideration strength of schedule. And they talked about that the whole year, and then you get around to making the final decision, and it's almost like they left it at the door. So, I mean, and I know Brandon Marcello had an article yesterday about some of the metrics they're going to be talking about coming up in the next few months, and that strength of schedule is going to be very important to them. That's going to be interesting to see. Look, this committee, it really kind of reminds you of the basketball committee. It's easy to say, okay, they did this last year, but does that mean that they're going to do that this year, guys? These committees have different personalities, and there's still time from year to year. Isn't there a lot of doubt left over that we really don't know what they're going to do?
Well, and I got to ask this too, Brent, because we did see South Carolina, Alabama,
Yes.
and Ole Miss not get the benefit of the doubt. But the way I'm going to tie this in, Ole Miss, beat Georgia 28-10 and dominated them. So I thought they had as good a roster as anyone. They weren't as consistent. But I wanted to bring Georgia into the conversation because I know you cover them very closely as well. I've got Georgia a top 3 team in the SEC, yet there are a lot of questions because they lost Etienne at running back. When he was healthy, their running game was good. When he wasn't, they didn't run it as well. Gunnar Stockton, we saw some good out of him, but the last thing we saw against Notre Dame was some struggles. How good is this Georgia team? Is it just the fact, though, that they've recruited so well that their roster is still going to be among the top 3 in the SEC? Because I have Texas, Alabama, and Georgia as the top 3 in the league in the preseason.
Stockton is a question mark, but they like what's around him so much that they think he's going to be okay. Nate Frazier, Josh McCray at running back. My stars, the 3 of us and who's ever in the studio would be better than some of the wide receivers they had last year. Those guys were talented, but when you drop 30 passes, there's something wrong there, and they're hoping Zachariah Branch, Noel Thomas will help that. I think they'll be fine at tight end with Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky. This offensive line was in the they were injured pretty much the whole year. Drew Bobo, Lord heaven forbid, if he has a rough year, as much as Georgia fans struggle with Mike Bobo, his father, as coordinator, that'd be tough to having both of them go. I think the defense will still be fine. I mean, Christian Miller's really good. Jordan Hall, Gabe Harris, C.J. Allen, Dylan Everett. I mean, those are guys that they can depend on. But look, they still have got to be better. And obviously, what is interesting, I had to look about 3 times to make sure I wasn't seeing things. With them playing Tennessee in September, and then you get a week off, then you play Alabama. So, and then obviously this Florida game is going to be fascinating. Now I'm going to tie something in here real quick, and you guys are aware of this, but after this year, as you know, what's going to be fascinating is they're basically rebuilding the stadium here, and then Georgia, Florida are going on the road, in Atlanta and then Tampa. So that's going to be fascinating that this will be the last Georgia-Florida game here in a while, but the rivalry returns. Guys, I know you're aware of this. Some of your listeners may not. Jacksonville wants that game so bad, and that they're paying both these teams when they come back, when the stadium has been rebuilt, about $10 million apiece for that game. That is an astronomical amount of money. But I'm going to tell you this: when you go to that game, there are 70,000 people in the stadium, but there are probably, and I'm not exaggerating this, in a mile or 2 radius of that stadium, there's probably another 500,000 or 1 million people. So, frankly, whatever they pay both those schools is a drop in the bucket to the economic boost that they get from that game in this city.
Well, and Brent, before we wrap up, do you have any brief thoughts on what's going on at Auburn? Because there seems to be a lot of conversation about Hugh Freeze. The recruiting at Auburn seems to be frozen, so to speak. But the way I look at it, I know Scott and I started the show off about the revenue sharing, and then Auburn, taking a different approach. I still say it's a smokescreen for. They need to beat Baylor, and Auburn needs to win football games.
Well, that's the bottom line. There's no question about that. What I was explained the other day, and I thought this was an interesting theory, is are the money people kind of sitting back to see, okay, Hugh, we've given you a couple classes here and given you some help. Now it's up to you to get some wins. Look, I mean, there's something there. I'm not sure what all that is right now. I mean, I've also heard, as you guys have, from, and I hope and pray he's doing well with the cancer situation on a serious note. But I've also heard that they're just questioning, does he really want to be there?
Yeah.
I mean, you see that in the body language and so forth. But I tell you guys, and you hit on it, that Baylor game on the road on a Friday night is a humongous game for them, frankly. But and it's going to be really important because I mean that at Oklahoma, at A&M, Georgia, and Missouri, they would probably sign a contract for 2-2 with that right now too.
No question. Well, Brent, it's been great to have you back on the show. We can't wait to see you next week. It's always good to catch up, and we always enjoy it. And I thought about you yesterday when I bought my Lindy's magazine.
Yeah. Look, the great thing about Lindy's is that it's compact. You've got schedule, roster, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, they all do that, but it's an easy read. Now, I get all of them, and I know you guys probably do too. Look, I love Phil Steele, what he does. I need a magnifying glass to read it, frankly, and try to decipher what all the abbreviations mean too. But there's something great. And look, I'm probably like you guys. When you get those, I mean, they're reference guides for us. I mean, we use them probably 2 or 3 times a day, but there is something significant and something reassuring when you go to the grocery store or the bookstore and find them on the shelves.
Yeah, no doubt. I picked mine up yesterday, and they are kind of the Bible, and no question. But like you said, it's shrinking because started thinking about Street and Smith yesterday, Sporting News,
really?
and I guess those aren't printed anymore. I don't really see them on the newsstands, but certainly they were a big part of it.
They were. Look, Lee Corso had a magazine years ago. Bob Greasy had a magazine years ago. But the Sporting News was the one that was great. And guys,
for national college football, I always thought.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Now, wasn't the Sporting News the one that had the picture of the player in the helmet, and it only had one bar? You remember that? It was like it was like the one bar that the kicker has on his helmet, and that's it. I always thought that was one of the more amusing things about preseason magazine.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, good stuff, bud.
Thank you, Brent. Let everybody know how to follow you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. At Brent Beaird on Twitter, BEAIRD. Certainly second helping with Travis Ryer, and also First Coast News here in Jacksonville, and we'll be having a SEC Media Days preview coming up this week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Thanks.
My pleasure.
All right. Got to get a break in. More Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Are you thinking about home improvements? Well, use your equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
What's happening? All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone, 8:25 on a Wednesday morning. And what's happening is you're probably driving around Huntsville right now and you're looking at all the beautiful homes for sale. Oh, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what? We've lived in all of these apartments that have been built up long enough. We need to find ourselves a house. If you need to find yourself a house, you need to call our good friend John Kendall over at Cross Country Mortgage. Been a little bit since we've hooked up with John, so we thought we'd talk to John today for a second.
Welcome back, John. Hope you had a great Fourth, man.
Man, I did, guys. It's good to talk to you guys again. I missed you.
Did you fire up the barbecue at all on the 4th?
We purchased. We went the lazy route. We let somebody else fire it up, and then we partook.
As long as you partook, that's the big thing. You have to partake.
That's exactly right. That's the most important part. If you don't, the cooking's fun, but the partaking is better.
Well, I know your son's a big part of the Hazel Green basketball program, and I'll tell you this: the Trojans partook in winning the prestigious Big Red Shootout this year over the summer. So Jeremy Crutcher's team is going to be really good. They've got some talent coming back, man.
Yeah, Jeremy's awesome. He's incredible. He's great for the program at Hazel Green, and he's not only he's a good coach, he's a good guy, he's a good mentor. He's great for the program.
Really is.
We wanted to bring you in real fast, too, because last time we talked to you, you were handing out money with somebody else. Now you're handing out money for Cross Country Mortgage.
That's right. The world of the NIL deals, we had built a really solid team, and we just got to looking around and trying to figure out what the best opportunity was, and we found the number one lender in America. That's actually voted on in the Scotsman's Guide, and I was able to join with them here in the North Alabama area, and it's been a great partnership. We have so much to offer right now to all of our potential customers. We've got over 120 mortgage products. Now, you see some crazy things out there. These are legitimately 120 mortgage products. If you're trying to buy a house, if we can't help you buy a house, you just can't buy one right now. And but even there, we'll help you get to where you can buy one in the very near future.
And that is maybe credit score being too low, down payment not having enough, right? All those tools that you guys can help get people to a house.
Absolutely, we can help repair credit. We have tons of 100% down 100% financing options. We even have our own proprietary down payment assistance programs for first-time home buyers that may not, be in the 1% club. A lot of times you think you have to have 20% to buy a house. That's just not the fact. The fact of the matter is, if you've got decent credit and you got a good job history, we can get you in a house.
And the Huntsville housing market is still booming, right? Is it?
It's been very well. It's been doing good. Of course, we always have a little summer slump, right before school starts back, but it's been booming. I talked to my realtor friends, and they're all busy. Of course, there's construction going on everywhere, and not to mention, we have one-time construction loans too. We have all the renovation products. If you are a VA, a veteran, and you want to stay in the house that you're in, and you want to renovate it, we can do a VA renovation 100% loan. If you're purchasing a house and you're a veteran, but the house needs a little bit of work and you want to do some upgrades, we can do a VA renovation purchase, 100% loan to value. We're helping a veteran right now do that in Arab, Alabama.
Nice.
All right, John, let them know how they can get a hold of you at Cross Country Mortgage online and over the phone.
Okay, you can go to ccm.com/John-Kendall. That's ccm.com/John-Kendall. Or you can go to my phone, 256-562-3780. And that's 256-562-3780.
And you'll be a part of our SEC Media Day coverage for us. Who are you excited to hear from, or who do you want to hear from at SEC Media Days the most?
Well, I'm an Auburn man. I heard the last bit, and it was interesting to hear that, and it's kind of what I've been reading and hearing too. I'm real curious to see how Coach Freeze shows up and what kind of mood he's in, and how the players respond. But also, I mean, we Alabama's been doing a great job recruiting. Georgia's going to be down a little bit this year. I'm interested to see what they have to say, and then. Of course, I talked about the Florida Gators. I think they're going to be a team to contend with this year in the SEC as well. But I enjoy seeing what the players wear, and there's always somebody that comes in, a little bit out there, and it's cool. Drew and I got to do the Into Hoops tournament for a long time, and we got to bring those guys in. Scott, you were part of it too, and got to interview those players. And interviewing 16, 17-year-old kids is always interesting, but it's the same thing when you got 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. You never know what they're going to say or when they're going to say it. So just keep the mics rolling and get ready to hit the Twitter.
Well, my personal favorite was Tay Fields from Lee. He did a great job. Just finished his career with UNA, but Tay, and he had transferred from Opelika, and he was a natural in front of the microphone. I can tell you that. Yes,
he was, and you could tell that he had been groomed to do it, and I'm sure if it doesn't work out for him in athletics, he's going to be a sports announcer one day.
Yes, sir.
He may take your guys' job.
Well, I hope not. We can make room for him, though. We got some shows.
We can make room for him.
Yeah,
but
slide another chair in.
Yeah. But
thanks, you, John.
Thanks, John.
Hey, it's good to catch up with you guys. Talk to you soon.
John Kendall, Cross Country Mortgage. Give them a call. They can help you get into a house. All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to talk some Oklahoma Sooners. Yeah, coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. Some of that activity could linger into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Partly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s with scattered showers and thunderstorms once again.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
I'm Jeff Jr., founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth. I was born and raised in northern Wisconsin by both my father, who owned a small 10-lane bowling alley, and my mother, who was a nurse, who did her best caring for everyone in our small town. My parents stressed with me that if you were going to do anything, it needed to be done right or not done at all. I later joined the Marine Corps, where additional values were instilled. Values like honor, courage, and commitment. The motto of the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, which means always faithful. The best part of Trajan Wealth, our 100-plus employees who also embrace the exact same values. If your current financial advisor is more interested in selling you something or is more loyal to their own financial gain than yours, give us a call for a second opinion. We would be honored to hear from you. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000. That's 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments, high schools, and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well, try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Oklahoma Sooners have been in the news the last 24, 48 hours because really they kind of shocked the college landscape when their AD announced he was stepping away. Might not sound so big, might not sound so bad, but he was the longest, I believe the longest tenured AD in all of college athletics.
Yeah, since 1998, and he hired some dude named Bob Stoops. I know it pleased you.
Yeah, that did.
Since you're such an Iowa guy.
It just was a good debacle.
Yeah, you grew up in the old Iowa Hawkeye State there. But he was a huge part of turning the entire Oklahoma athletic department around, not just the football program, which had kind of floundered since the retirement of Barry Switzer, but the entire athletic department became one of the best in the country, certainly dominated the Big 12s. And of course, hit the last thing he did to cement his legacy was move Oklahoma to the SEC. And we're talking about Joe Castiglione as he has announced his retirement. They will begin a national search. And we're going to bring in a good friend of ours. He is the co-owner and co-publisher of OU Insider, which, of course, had been part of Rivals, but now they have merged with On3 Sports. And it's a very exciting time for the Oklahoma Sooners and their athletic department. And we're going to bring Brandon Drumm back into the conversation to talk about what's been going on with the Sooners. And Brandon, first of all, congratulations. I know your website, OU Insider, has been doing very, very well. I guess you guys are super excited for this merger with two of the titans in the industry, On3 and Rivals.
Yeah, it's been wild. It's been hectic to say the least. Look, I'd be lying if I didn't say there hadn't been bugs, because now there's two OU sites on 3, and they can choose whatever one they want to, and we're both independent sites, but there's quite a few of that now. It's actually a smart move, because there's not as much crossover as people actually believe there is between both sides. There's a lot of independence, so On3 decided to make the move and merge entities and double up on the cost. If I'm a businessman and you can get the rabid fan bases to do such things, why not, right?
Yeah.
So far it's been fun, but it's been a learning process. The thing we enjoy the most is the national team is now just absurd. You got obviously Steve Wiltfong, Chad Simmons, John Garcia, Sam Spiegelman, Greg Smith, Adam Gorney, and a host of other, just all over the United States, just working feverishly on recruiting and all sorts of college football and news and notes, and they're posting on OU Insider. So we enjoy that part too.
Well, plenty of news. No shortage of news right now, and that the headline is Oklahoma. Look, I mean, the AD making a change, stepping down, longest tenured AD in college athletics. That was a big shock.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a shock in that he's retiring. It's been talked about for quite some time, actually. We've known it was coming for a few years. Just we didn't know when. Like he would say things that would lead you to believe, when you talk to him, that it was something that was on his mind, and he talked about it in the presser yesterday. It was something that maybe came up in his mind every now and then, to something that he really, really started to harp on and believe was getting closer and closer at time. He's almost 70 years old, so it's starting to make sense. Like he's getting up there. But the good news is that he's still going to be around, kind of in an emirate role, where after they hire the new AD, he's going to hang around and help with that transition and get them ready and able as far as relationships and funding and donors and all that type of stuff. Because I think that's always the hardest thing, is getting everybody on the same page. But when you have somebody in the emirate role until 2028, which is what he's going to be doing, it kind of, that transition is very, very smooth, if you will. So they're doing it the right way. There isn't a rush to do a lot of different things. So it should be. Look. If I said I knew how they were going to attack this, because Randall Stevenson's the guy he obviously ran AT&T for years, a huge OU alum. If I knew how this was going to end, I would already have reported it. I promise you. I don't know if they're going to go with somebody outside the college football ranks, more of a professional outlook, the way, college sports is looking and moving towards the future, as far as, whether it be CBAs, whether it be, salary caps, all that type of stuff, player unions, which I feel is probably not in the not too distant future, I would assume. So, I don't know. It's going to be wild to see how this all turns out, because hiring an AD isn't quite as cut and dry as it once was.
Well, and of course, I saw the quote from him. He's still a very young athletic director. Just made a huge college baseball hire with Brian O'Connor. And of course, he worked for Joe Castiglione, also Bubba Cunningham, who's retiring at North Carolina. Is Zach Selman going to be on the list in your mind?
Oh yeah, he's up there. He's way up there. He's up there, and Texas Tech's Kirby Cuts up there. And I don't think a lot of people realize the relationship or even the connection there. Granted, I know he didn't go to OU. He played at K-State. He was a linebacker at K-State. His defensive coordinator was Bob Stoops.
Mm-hmm.
His teammate was Brent Venables, and also his grad assistant coach was Brent Venables. So there is a deep, deep relationship there. And obviously Joe Castiglione was one of his mentors for a very long time as Kirby Hocutt came up through the ranks. So those are the two that have been thrown around the most. I don't know that Hocutt would leave Texas Tech with all the billions of dollars flowing through that university right now, but it is still Oklahoma, and it's still Texas Tech. It's still Lubbock, and you're still like Oklahoma City. Like you're within the metro area of the NBA champions. So there is a difference there. There's several names out there that are very high up on a lot of people's lists right now, and those would be two of them.
Where does Oklahoma now? We've talked a lot about Alabama. We've talked a lot about Auburn and the House settlement and financially, NIL stuff, competitive. Where does Oklahoma fall into all of that within the SEC as far as, I guess you could say, just a financial situation?
I would say they're in the top half for sure. They definitely have a lot of money. Look, they have a lot of money, and they've shown that in how they've recruited. They've had, top 10 classes over and over. They bought numerous 5-stars, right? I think they just got John Mateer, the number one quarterback, out of the portal for $3 million. So they have a lot of money. It's how they use it is very different. They're very judicious, very you don't want to say conservative with how they go about it, but they're very they stand to their ground on how they go about their evaluations and how they go about their NIL process. But as far as just like the grand scheme of things, you got to think about it. You're within 2 hours of Dallas, which has, I want to say 300,000 or 400,000, OU alums in that area, if not more. It is a very, very pro OU. DFW is, if there's any university, DFW that is more pro Oklahoma outside of the state of Oklahoma, that is the area. It is deep. If you go down there on the television, the sports talk, the sports radio, the television stations, the news stations down there, Oklahoma is one of the top sports, things that they talk about down there because it has such a big following and such a big alumni base in the DFW area. And that's close to 10 million people in that region. So there's a lot of money there. Obviously, Oklahoma City's within a stone's throw, 20 minutes away from Norman, Tulsa. So they've got a lot of NIL money and a lot of alumni and a big, wide base there and a lot of population there. So there's that. But then on top of it, obviously, they still stick to their grounds. They do things. They do things with a very evaluated process, saying that if they evaluate a 3-star the same way they evaluate a 5-star, they're going to go after the 3-star because there's no point in throwing money at somebody that they feel has the same upside, and that maybe the recruiting services aren't on board. A prime example is the Tyler Ruxer deal. They offered Tyler Ruxer months ago. He was a 3-star at the time. Now he's a top 200 kid in the country, and they just got a commitment from him. And they've been doing that with a lot of guys. They have like 3 or 4 guys that they offered that were 3-stars when they offered and pushed for them. They got them on board, and they got them at a very discounted price, and now they're top 250 kids. So, I mean, they have Jim Nagy as their general manager.
That was I was about to ask. He was our first guest in Dallas last year. How big an addition has Jim Nagy been for Brent Venables?
Huge. I mean, like I just said, like it's been awesome. And when you look at that from a purely evaluation process, from pure like getting the best bang for your buck as far as like your recruiting, been huge. It doesn't mean they're not going after the top 5 stars, because they are. They're in on Jake Krell. They're in on Davion Gross, like guys that are top 50, top, close to that 5-star range. And they're probably going to get both those guys. So they're still doing that, but they're being very, very smart with how they go about it. They know that they can build. They want to build sustainability. They want to build guys that want to be at Oklahoma, develop them like college football used to be, and not have just the swinging door open of transfers in and out all the time, because they don't feel like that's a sustainable model. And I think most would agree with that. So, it's a very, very structured way about how they go about doing things. But that starts at the top. That started with Joe C. And then obviously Brent Venables and Jim Nagy put it in place. And they've been very, very, disciplined in how they've gone about that. And Jim Nagy, with his background, I think he's got 4 Super Bowl rings, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's been in part of 6. He knows what he's doing from a scouting and a front office perspective. That's for sure.
And then, of course, you mentioned John Mateer. It's going to be interesting because their old QB, who I know you knew very well, he's now going to be at media days. He's going to be the Auburn Tigers QB1. We know that in Jackson Arnold. Yeah, Jackson Arnold. But what about John Mateer? Because he was, when he went into the portal, the top guy, and got his OC coming to Norman and Mateer as well.
They train together. So it's kind of a funny deal. Yeah. They're the same trainer that my son has. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, Jack, look, I don't know that people say it's weird, but it's really not. Like, they're friends. They've known each other. They're both from North Dallas. Just said, like, that whole area is OU. Mm-hmm. And so, all those kids know each other. If you're from Denton or Little Elm or McKinney or Allen, Texas, you haven't noticed, like, a lot of those kids end up at Oklahoma because it's 2 hours from home. It's a very pro OU area. So it's interesting to see just the storyline from that point of view. But at the same time, like, they know each other. They understand that this is a business. Jackson made a business move, and he's been very happy. Everybody I've talked to down at Auburn, I know a lot of the staffers down there, and they love what they've heard of, and they've seen from him so far. Jackson, I talked to him as well, and he's loved it down there in Auburn. He feels at home. He feels at peace. Obviously, he thinks Hugh Freeze's offense really fits him, which I totally agree with his skill set. But John Mateer, I mean, he changed the dynamic of OU. Jackson's not a vocal, crazy type of personality. He's just lead, get the job done, show up in the film room. He will be a talker and try to get you pumped up, and he does play with his hair on fire a little bit, but not in the sense that you would think John Mateer does. They are different in that aspect, where John Mateer is more of a Baker Mayfield type of leader, where he's going to be crazy. You're going to see all the antics on television. He's going to duck his shoulder into you and then talk to you after he does it. And that's just who he is. And that's the type of stuff we've heard from people behind the scenes. I mean, he's done a lot of the Jalen Hurts stuff, where he goes and lifts after a really hard workout, and everybody goes in there and gets all hyped up around him and stuff like that. He's just one of those leaders. And so they're two different guys. They go about it in two different ways, but I think both are going to be really successful either way.
Mm-hmm.
And
then my final question for you: how big year though? Brent needs to win this year. We talked about Hugh Freeze needing to win, but this is a huge year for Venables as well.
Massive. It's probably the most important. It is the most important season I can remember in a long time in OU history. Like, I want to go back to that 2015. It's probably 2015 was the last time, and they brought in Baker Mayfield, who I just kind of gave the correlation between him and John Mateer. Bob Stoops was struggling. They just fired Josh Heupel and Jay Norvell and a couple other staffers and brought in a bunch of new offensive staffers, very much akin to what you saw this past off season. And kind of funny how it's, a decade exactly, how played out. So we'll see. It's very important. I don't know that they're going to fire him if he goes 7-5 or whatever this year. I don't think they want to go. They want to, because they know that the new SEC schedule's rolling around, and they're not going to get. Let's be honest, they have a gauntlet, and the SEC is always a gauntlet. But OU got given the gauntlet of gauntlets, them in Florida, as far as their schedules go. So they know that they're going to get more of the Texas schedule moving forward, and they feel like they can be very successful and start to get things going. But yeah, if he does go 6-7, I can't guarantee that wouldn't be reasons to oust him. But I don't think a 7-5 or 4 season would be anything to fire him at just yet. At least that's what we're being told. But once that comes up, and the seat gets hot on those that are just now hired, and the new AD wants to put their staple on things, maybe something does change there. We'll have to see how that plays out, but it is very, very important. It's a crucial year for Brent Venables for sure.
Well, good stuff, bud.
Thank you, Brandon, and we'll let everybody know how to follow you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That's Brandon Drumm. Go ahead.
All right, thanks, guys. No, just go to uinsider.com or on3.com and check us out.
Thank you, sir.
Let's get that final break in.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. 3-0 to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's gonna fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details. With the summer heating up, it's time to cool down, and what better way to do that than enjoy some Handel's homemade ice cream. Handel's Ice Cream makes each batch by hand using only the best tasting ingredients to serve ice cream lovers in the Tennessee Valley. With 2 locations to serve ice cream lovers along Highway 72 West and 1 in Jones Valley, the #1 ice cream on the planet, according to National Geographic magazine, is just a quick drive and scoop away. It's Handel's Ice Cream, where the proof is in the scoop.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Braves lose. Braves lose.
We talked about it with Josh. Remember Josh Pay's tweet? I mean, they lost to the Sacramento A's 10-1. They sent the Rook down. He wasn't ready.
Nope.
Day 2 of the Who today.
Day 2 of the Who.
Yeah.
Big 12 Media Days going on there in the Star.
Yeah. The mullet will be there today. Rich Rod.
You know what, though? We did not get into the whole Scott Frost thing because obviously we didn't have time, but we'll get into that tomorrow. Because
Don't take the wrong job.
It's pretty interesting.
When Nebraska sucks.
We'll delve into that and whether or not the NCAA will actually do the tournament expansion today or tomorrow. It could happen today. It could happen tomorrow, but it will happen.
Leave it at 68. Somebody come to their senses.
We're back at it tomorrow morning.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is,